Hi, I'm Sandy Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know on the go for all things Colorado Springs delivered right to your inbox. And today, in our local business spotlight, we're talking with a man who worked alongside comedy legends in the 80s, left the business for a real job, and then came back to build an entirely new comedy legacy from scratch. We're joined by Trip Uhalt, the founder of the hilarious and family friendly Oxymorons Comedy. He's here to share his incredible journey and the secrets to winning over any crowd. Trip, it's great to have you.
Hey, Sandy, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's been looking forward to this for a while.
Awesome. Now, I do have to ask you a question. What's up with Trip? It's an unusual name. Now, is it a nickname or was it just like a crazy birth and your parents looked at each other and said, Boy, that was a trip?
Well, my real name is Alfredo Mendoza Consuelo de Zias Garcia, and people say, "Wow, what a trip!" And so, yeah, no, real name is Alfred H. Uhalt the third. Trip is short for triple. Dad was junior. His dad was senior.
Oh, wow, that is interesting. I always wanted to ask you, and now we have the inside track.
Well, it's really become an issue, when magazine subscriptions come to the house, and they're for my dad because I really don't need anything to do with Home and Gardens or Soaring Society of America, but I accidentally did cancel the National Geographic subscription, which was oh, it was a bummer, back back in my teens.
Right. That's really interesting. So I know when your form came in for the spotlight, when it said Trip U-Haul, and I'm just like, U-Haul is like U-Haul and Trip, and I'm going, is this a spammer? So I bet you get that a lot.
Yeah, one time I was moving and I called the U-Haul company. It's spelled U-Haul, like hauling something. I'm UHALT. And I called him and he said, "Can I have your name?" And I said, "Yeah, Trip." And crickets. And he's like, you can hear him thinking. And he says, "Can I have your last name?" And I said, U-Haul. "Don't hang up." And click. I had to call back. So yeah, it's not the first time my head has been slapped. I learned how to get pretty tough as a small child on a recess playground with a name like Trip U-Halt. Have a nice trip this fall, and
Oh
yeah, I've
boy.
heard them all. If I had a nickel, I'd have a nickel.
True. So let us know, are you a Colorado Springs native?
No, I'm a transplant. I was born in Florida, Panama City, Florida, Florida boy. And dad was military, and he and mom, we've moved around all over the United States, everywhere except the Pacific Northwest, and probably lived most of my life here now. First time we came here was in 72, then moved away again, came back in 75, and uh, kind of been here most of that time since I've worked in, as you said, went out to get a real job. I worked in West Palm Beach and Tampa, and then across the Midwest and uh, done some freelance work in LA and stuff like that. But no, just yeah, love to call this place home after having lived in a lot of places all over the country. Colorado Springs has a wonderful environment, has a wonderful temperature, no humidity, no bugs, and great people like Sandy Zuniga and everybody listening here to Town Tidings.
You were so sweet.
Yeah, I'll be getting a check from the uh, Convention and Visitors Bureau shortly for that call out.
That's funny. Well, okay, let's get more into your story. So you worked with comedy legends in the 80s, like Sinbad, Paula Poundstone, and who's
Sam
the other one?
Kinison
Sam Kinison, right?
before he died.
Yes, let give us your best Sam Kinison.
Uh, well, I just kind of I don't want to blow up my microphone, but yeah, his his big line is, the Africans, they're always asking, please send us food, please send us food, or please send us money. What we need to do is, they only live where there's sand. It's always going to be sand. So we'll send them U-Hauls so they can move where there's no sand. Move to where the food is. Oh, oh.
There you go. Okay,
That's Sam's line, not mine. So understand,
right,
I am quoting him, not not stealing from him.
right, right. Well, and now you can't really steal from him. He doesn't have any new material.
Well, you know what he'd be doing if he were alive today, right?
What?
Clawing at the inside of his coffin.
Oh my goodness. That was bad trip.
I know. Brace yourselves, Colorado Springs and Town Tidings. Buckle up and hang on, because it's going to be a long ride.
Put on your seatbelts. Okay. So in the 80s, when you left for a real job, what was a specific spark that reignited your passion for comedy and made you decide to build a new troupe from the ground up?
The answer is a little bit disjointed from your question, but
Okay.
you know, uh, umpty ump years later, yeah, I was doing comedy in the '80s with Jeff Valdez Comedy Corner. Some of y'all may have been around long enough to remember that, and they moved away. And Jeff and I are still good friends. And then jump ahead to my, oh gosh, 2014, and I saw an ad in somewhere that said some group was auditioning for comedians, and they were looking for clean comedians. And back in the day, I tried to stay clean. I tried, emphasis on try. But I wasn't foul and grotesque and or anything like that. But I did have a
You
little
were
bit
no
of
Eddie
colorful.
Murphy?
No, and not his success either. But yeah, some colorful language, and there was a clean improv group, and I joined it and was having fun. And I loved improv. But back in the day with Jeff Valdez, I was doing stand up, and I was opening and doing some middle work. And Jeff said, "Hey, there's this thing called improv." And he asked me and a couple of the other house comedians, there's about six of us, do you guys want to form an improv group? And I said, what's improv? And he says, well, you just kind of talk and make jokes and interact. And we said, sure, sounds like fun. And he had a guy coming down from Denver to train us. And after about three sessions, we quickly didn't need a trainer, and we ran with improv, and then we did live improv every Tuesday night, and we got paid for it, and made a good amount of money for doing it. So jump ahead to 2014. I'm interrupting myself, and was with this improv group, and had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, and they just didn't want to do much more than just very localized shows. And so we, they said, well, why don't you form your own group, Trip, and stop bothering us? and, and I did, and I was performing in both groups for a while, and then they said, yeah, we don't really want you diluting the audience. Why don't you just take off on your own? I said, yeah, sure. And so here comes the longer part of the answer. So that was I don't know, early 2018, and I formed a Facebook page and created a logo, and then got the website address, and nobody knew what an Oxymorons Comedy was or is or therefore and how to and wherefore out there. So I started doing memes online, memes on family friendly, clean memes on Facebook and Instagram, and started to get a following. And then Pappy Sorellis of a lot of people will know that name. He big entertainer and producer guy here in town. Got us a gig January 2nd of 2019, and I had the group formed, and we performed, and been going strong since.
So what was your real job then? Let's back up a little bit before you got that.
Which which real job? I'm actually I have a background in broadcasting and advertising. I got into television production, and so I've made TV commercials for over 35 years. A lot of which you've seen, and a lot of your audience have seen. They don't remember the good ones, but they don't forget the bad. Anybody ever seen the carpet clearance rugged riders, the guys that ride the carpet rolls. Yeah, that's I
Oh,
can't
oh,
think.
that's funny. I remember those.
Yeah, I can't forget them. But now, on the same note, I've done the world released Broadmoor marketing and sales tape, and also the in-room video for the Broadmoor. And that was a $500,000 project, and so it done some good stuff too. But can't take creative credit for the carpet clearance cowboys. That was usually the owner that wrote those. And so love doing commercial production. I was a commercial production director and manager at Channel 5 and Fox 21 here in town. And just because I was a manager, I mean, I was very hands-on. I wrote and produced most of the ads. The only thing that I really didn't do was edit them. I usually had editors that worked for me, and just because if you don't edit all the time, you're not as fast as you can be, and I'm only half-assed. So that was a clean word. That was two words. And so then you get kids. Well, you get a wife, you get kids, and then the calls of financial needs of life tend to start becoming more and more. So then I started teaching, and I started teaching at Pikes Peak Community College back then, and I was teaching radio and excuse me, I was teaching TV in the radio TV department over there. And then in 2000, UCCS asked me if I'd teach over there. So I've been teaching at both colleges since, and now I teach online only. I teach in classroom hybrid, which is half online, half classroom, and I teach classroom. And then the day job is I'm the marketing manager at Cave of the Winds. And so I promote Cave of the Winds, and I promote Oxymorons Comedy at the shows. And if anybody needs a logo or something like that, I'm happy to. There it is.
There you go.
Sandy and I were having this conversation earlier. We don't know which way to point, kind of like a weatherman. Ooh, 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 ooh. And then here's the microphone. We were talking about the distance using the virtual background versus a green screen. So yeah, there you go. There's a little secret there. There's a microphone right there that you can't see because it's closer to the camera than I am. So yeah, if anybody wants to nerd out, just give me a call.
I
And
love it.
so, yeah, the day job, I'm marketing manager at Cave of the Winds. I also serve on some subcommittees for Visit Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak Region Attractions Association, blah, 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 blah. Because them bills ain't going to pay themselves, and Mama needs a new pair of shoes more often than I do.
Oh my goodness, you make me tired just even hearing it.
I get bored easy.
It sounds like it. And so, since we are concentrating on oxymorons, I want to know, it's interesting how you started with memes, and those are funny. I know I've seen them. And since you started with that first, before having the full troop, you just had an idea, I assume. How did the memes shape the oxymorons' identity?
Great question. The memes were, like I said, they're family friendly and clean and easy to understand. I don't understand a lot of them when I venture too far away from oxymoronscomedy.com. Come. And so just try and do things like that actually appear in my stand-up act, like one of my New Year's resolutions last year was to lose 15 pounds. It's the middle of October. I got 25 to go.
Okay.
People, you can laugh. Yeah, what's the sound of nobody clapping? Well, you just heard it there, folks. And then people they look at me and they say, "Well, wow, Trip, you eat so good and you work out and you try so hard. How do you stay so fat?" And so, I got a lot of things that people can relate to, and so the memes are just things that people can relate to in their daily lives. Uh, and I just try and take thoughts that I have that everybody can relate to, and just I'll find an image that will solidify that. And well, like even today's wasn't necessarily a funny one. I kind of had a rough day yesterday. I was just walking along, and somebody shouted some obscenities at me out of a truck and said, "Hey, why you walk around with that stupid smile on your face?" And so today I put
My
a
goodness.
uplifting. What's that?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. I wasn't in his way or anything else, and just decided to shout obscenities. And so
And
today
you
I put
didn't
up a meme.
say it's not stupid, it's very smart.
Well, thank you. I put up a flame on a candle that says, all the darkness that there is cannot hide the light of one bright flame. So be a light in somebody's life today and tomorrow and the day after.
I
And
love
also on
that.
the Oxymorons pages, on Sundays, I'll post a scripture that's usually uplifting and encouraging. Oxymorons, by the way, is a Christ following Christian improv group, non judgmental. We want to put the want to let people see that our God is not just the God of thou shalt nots. He's a God of great joy, love, grace, and forgiveness through his son, Jesus Christ. And, when you come to one of our shows, you get to check the Sunday school box.
There you go. That's very helpful. So, did the memes somehow help form the actual name of oxymorons? Because memes are usually oxymorons.
uh, Good question, but I'm sorry. I politely say no, they didn't.
Okay.
Oxymorons. I was thinking of a name that would encapsulate what we wanted to do with clean comedy, and so oxy being associated with clean, moronic being silly and funny. So clean silliness, clean fun. And I used the logo, the old kind of fashioned avatar there, the wings on the and the old fashioned mic, kind of a yesteryear step back to a time, Leave It to Beaver and Car 54, Where Are You? The old Batman, and just kind of a retro feel. But our comedy, we've been voted. Excuse me, we've been voted best of the Springs, either gold or silver, every year since we've been in existence, since 2019. And last 2 years in a row, we've been gold. And so we got voting going on now. So, hey, go to the Gazette Best of the Springs and vote Oxymorons Comedy under Improv Group. We'd love your vote.
Yeah, that's a great plug. You are so smooth. Okay, so now your group performs clean comedy, as you said, in a huge range of venues from dive bars, I guess you'd call them,
Yep,
to
dive bar.
major theaters. So this one should be good. I'll give you a minute to think. Can you share a story about winning over a particularly tough or unexpected crowd?
Yeah, there've been a few times, especially dive bars. The people talking and fighting in the back are usually louder than us on microphones. But once the audience starts hearing and the laughter starts erupting and permeating throughout a room, people start to listen, and that's one of the things that I try and do is get us bookings at theater events, with theater seating, less so much bars anymore because, a lot of people are there to play pool or to do other things, throw darts and such, and they're not necessarily there to listen to a bunch of people on a microphone. They might be there to listen to a band. Hey, where's the band? And what are these guys up here talking? Well, if you'd be quiet, you can tell that you can hear that we're telling jokes. And so
Well, you
that's
never got a dart at your head, did you?
not yet. I'm
Okay,
I'm
good.
too quick.
Good.
Kind of going back to the half-ass thing, I do have a little dimple right there that no, I got grazed. But yeah, when you start oftentimes at the start of a show, there'll be a lot of conversations in bars going on. But I don't know that I ever turned a crowd per se, just because they usually know that there's going to be a comedy show that night, so they turn around and kind of half listen. I do have some comedy hell stories from earlier on.
Oh, good. Tell us.
Tell us.
It's story time. I'm a captive audience, or we're a captive audience.
Back in the Jeff Valdez Comedy Corner days, we would travel and do comedy, and the old Trail Dust Steakhouse at the corner of North Carefree and Academy. They had a Chippendales mail review for a fun, and when we were doing a fundraiser, and we made the mistake of following the Chippendales mail review, and the uh, the women in the crowd were louder than me screaming into a microphone. We just couldn't get anything done. They weren't listening. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear a bunch of stupid comedians tell a bunch of jokes. They wanted the Chippendales guys back out, and yeah, that was a lesson well learned.
Do you think it would have been better if you opened for them instead of
Absolutely.
okay, warm the crowd up or
Absolutely.
whatever?
Yeah, and I'm choosing my words wisely because when I said the women around the edge of the bar, I mean they'd been drinking for a while and they were they were not holding back, shall we say. They were pretty vocal in what they wanted to see.
Gotcha. So, but all of your troop at that time, you all stay clothed, right?
We well, as much as we could, yeah. Yeah, you didn't want to see us definitely not with our shirts off. You ever seen
Not
the Stay
compared
Puft
to
Marshmallow Man?
Chippendales.
What's that?
Not compared to Chippendales. I mean,
No, no, no.
that's a tough not act to follow, but comparison for
Especially,
anybody.
especially when we look like the Michelin Man.
Well, so what other stories do you have?
Well, we were doing a gig at the Flying W Ranch and sold the house out, 600 people, and we lost the audio about ten minutes in, and that was a bummer. And so the people in the front couple of rows could hear, but scream as we may, that's a big room, big
Yeah,
beautiful room they got over there. And we kind of had to close the show early, and then I did a little tap and soft shoe to kind of keep the people interested. So
interesting. But you're improv, so with that, and I've had audio issues at a workshop, and it was bigger and it was just not good. So I can relate. However, since you do improv and you just go with the flow, I'm wondering, would it have been advantageous to just go into the audience? Your voice does carry, mine does not. So you have that going for you. But when you're in a situation like that, could you have gone into the and gotten interaction? Since you're improv, you guys do that really well. Or am I mistaken?
well, contextually, when she says that my voice carries well, she's saying, "Trip, you got a big mouth." But
Oh,
yeah, we we could have done that, and yeah, I can probably fill a fairly big room with my voice, but not everybody can.
true.
And and when people have to struggle to hear it, it's just difficult. And so it's always best to have the amplification. And yeah, being improv, I mean, nothing that we do is planned. It's not a skit of any kind. We're not going off rehearsal or anything like that. It's spur of the moment. It's just like whose line is it anyway? And they'll pull the card and say, okay, here's a suggestion. Now do this. And then there's different in improv contextual games that we call them. And one game we might have a person guessing, and then everybody else in the group is there. Like maybe it's called shopkeeper, and so the shopkeeper has to guess like three items that are being returned, and we're shoppers, and so we bring something back and give clues throughout the course of the thing, and the person has to guess. And there's a reason that I never guess because we try to keep the show to an hour and a half. If I were guessing, you probably see the sun coming up the next day. It's I'm not a good guesser, but you know, to answer your question specifically, going out into the crowd, yeah, we could have done that, but only the people within about 50 feet of us would have been able to hear well. And like I said, that's a huge room, a huge, beautiful
Right.
space, and it's just the people outside that 50-foot range probably wouldn't have been able to hear. And we were doing that up on stage, and there are some things where we do that. At our last show, we did something called press conference. It's a guessing game, and we'll go out into the crowd would be like part of the press score, and the guy up on stage is the PR person for somebody famous who did something crazy. And so, we'll ask the guy, give me somebody famous, and
There's
the word.
nobody like that. There's no material for that.
Well, we wound up taking Dolly Parton, and Dolly Parton was hailing a cab after eating at Taco Bell.
Alrighty
So,
then.
so we had to get the guesser guy to guess that, and it was Paul. Paul's a great guy. He's one of the founding members of the group too. And yeah, he got Dolly Parton pretty quick, but the whole Taco Bell thing in the cab, it was just a smelly situation, if you will.
My goodness. Yeah, that is interesting. Now, Tell us about your shows. Where do you usually do them, and do you move around at all?
Yeah, we move around all the time, but we kind of have a home-based theater. It's called the Peak Improv Theater. It's ironically right behind the old Trail Dust Steakhouse where the Chippendales Mail Review taught me a valuable lesson about comedy. Hell, 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 hell. And it's actually in the building right behind it in the old Bingo building. That's on North Carefree and Academy. And we are there the second Saturday of every month and except for December when we are usually doing a lot of private shows and things. But and we do get hired for a lot of private shows. We do a lot of fundraising. I can talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shows are $15, and we also give to charity, typically a Christian charity, oftentimes local here in the area, Springs Rescue Mission, Care and Share, Help Autism. Oh gosh, they're escaping me right now. There's an orphanage in Uganda that I'm very excited. Help become sustainable. We would send them a fair amount of money throughout the year. Every year we donate about $10,000 to charity, and they would ask us, "Hey, we got Christmas coming up, and can you send us some money?" And I said, "All right, I'll do a show for you guys." But then the curator of the orphanage, a young man by the name of Isabari Taliki. He's about 26 years old and total guy from Uganda and wonderful man and with God on his heart. And he I saw on his Instagram page that he had a sponsorship graphic for one of the kids at the orphanage. And so I messaged him and I said, "Hey, this looks great. Who did you have do this?" I was wondering if he was spending money, that we were sending him. And just doing some due diligence. He goes, I did that. And I said, "Wow, this is amazing. You have certain you have skills." And he said, "I did that." I said, "Well, what'd you do it on?" He said, "My phone." And I said, "Oh my gosh, you have the ability to make some money with that. Why don't how about we do a show and I'll get you a computer and some things that you need to do that. You can hire yourself out on Fiverr and then hire your services and become the sustainability conduit for the orphanage." And that's just what happened. And so we got him $1,000 worth of laptop and some more software on top of that. He's using Canva and Photoshop and Illustrator and things like that. And he told me just last about 2 weeks ago, he said, "We're making money, we're feeding ourselves." And he said, "Can you do another show? We want to buy some livestock and some grain. I want to show the children how to plant corn that we can eat, and we'll feed the livestock and the chickens and the cows and goats and stuff, and we can make money doing that." So right there, the Oxymorons Comedy have helped some people in a tangible way that when we first started doing shows for them, his kids were dying. They were dying of malnutrition and disease. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get a little bit misty here. But God works in just incredible ways, and I'm just so happy that I don't have to be outside a football stadium on a megahorn saying "Turner, burn, turn." I mean, he's not that kind of God.
Right.
I mean, he is if you don't follow the rules, but he's loving and caring and graceful, and oxymorons. It's our ministry to show people that side of God, which the devil has pulled the veil of deception over so many people's eyes, and religion has hurt a lot of people. Religion is man-made. Jesus is a personal relationship, and so many people that dislike religion, and I don't blame them, have usually been hurt because of something man has done, not Christ. And so just just a wonderful way to be in his service, touch lives with bettering them through laughs and joy. We just
Right.
enjoy the Lord.
That's amazing just how one small comedy show in Colorado Springs helped that orphanage. And it goes beyond just here's some money. It was more of the coaching, the teaching, showing him how to be self sufficient. And that's just a very heartwarming story. And then also, every show you do at Peak Improv, and I don't know if it's at other places too, you take a portion of that and it goes to a mostly a local charity, unless you have it on there that it's the Uganda one, I'm assuming.
Right. And with Isabar, I told you that I teach online, and so I gave him some of my school coursework. I just bundled it up in a way that he could access it, and sent him my teaching material, so he was able to teach himself. But yeah, to get back to what you said, yeah, we give a portion of every show to Christian charities, and there's so many wonderful charities out there. Our little furry friends, and Wounded Warriors, and so many wonderful charities. But we're only on this earth for a flash, 50 to 80, 90 years. Eternity is the rest of forever, and we want to impact lives for eternity, because on that day we're all going to give an account of our lives. And those who say, when God asks, why should I let you into heaven, you can say, well, I wasn't very bad. Well, there's bad people in hell, and there's good people in hell, and there's bad people in heaven. Jeffrey Dahmer, who supposedly gave his life to Christ just a few weeks before he was killed in prison. Christ died for our sins, and we cannot out sin God. And when we answer, I gave my life to Christ, and He's enough, He'll say, well done, good and faithful servant. The kingdom of heaven is yours. And so that's why we want to try and impact Christian ministries, just simply because of that. And whether, and I know Christianity has a little bit of a bad connotation these days, and well deserved. But the religiosity has hurt mankind. No, Christians aren't perfect. We're just forgiven. And I got I got 17 sins just between the time we started this interview to now. So but we try and do our best, and be godly, and helpful, and just spread the joy of the Lord.
So, because Oxymorons is faith-based, do all of your shows have a large amount of religion or faith-based context in it, or is it just the underlying? Because I know
Great
you have
question.
some shows that are definitely more a religious undertone, but I tell me if other ones are more neutral.
If you come to one of our shows, you probably won't hear anything about religion or church or anything like that. No, it'll sound just like a clean comedy show. And I understand that, again, religion has hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people have been hurt by it. No, you come to our show, it's funny, it's clean, and you can bring the kids, you can bring grandpa, and everybody in between. And, matter of fact, I just kind of thought of a line about 2 shows ago. When I walk out to introduce us, say, hey, we are Oxymorons Comedy. We are a Christ-following improv group, and tonight I'll be talking to you about tithing and giving. Bob, lock the doors. And so I'm making a little fun of ourselves, and that's really kind of the only overt Christian context you'll hear of the evening. No, we're not going to lecture people. We're not going to sermonize people or anything like that. You're just going to come and have a good time, and not worry about any awkward car ride home and having to explain stuff to the kids
Right,
about something they heard at the show.
right. Yeah, I
Now
like
we
that
do.
personally.
Well, thank you. And we do get hired by churches, and sometimes we'll have more of a religious leaning, and oftentimes making fun of ourselves, and making some fun of some of the religiosity things that people hate. And like I said, the tithing and giving. God loves a cheerful giver, but it seems like whenever you visit somebody's church, they have a new pastor, they have a guest pastor who's talking on tithing and giving. So.
Right.
Uh, we also do teaching. We have if that's asked for.
Gotcha. So you're consistently at Peak Improv every second Thursday, you said?
Second Saturday of every month.
Oh,
If you go to
second.
oxymoronscomedy.com, we have it
Okay.
all listed there.
Yeah, so
So our,
you do those consistently. So if anybody's looking for you, they you will be at Peak Improv except for in December, you said, right?
yep, our
And
next
then
show is November 8th.
right, so then every show you do there, you're collecting or giving part of the proceeds to a charity. So does it change every month?
Yeah, it floats around, and we have a number of them here in town that we like to help with. The Help Autism Center, Brian Hall, coincidentally, was Jeff Valdez's old college roommate, which is kind of fun.
Oh,
And
nice.
he does a lot of work with autism, and he and his family and his group, and now they're doing something with service dogs to help autistic people. Next month in November we're doing something that I call the Hunger Games, where all the proceeds from the show, once the bills are paid, are going to go to the Springs Rescue Mission, and to
I
help
was going to
feed.
ask you about that.
Well,
Yep.
good. I hope I haven't taken away your question. I told you I'd talk a lot and talk fast, but
You're good.
uh, go ahead. To answer your question specifically, though, yeah, a portion of the proceeds from every show go to a charity. They'll the ones that I listed and others, and if somebody has a charity, it'll go through a vetting process, and we'll decide and figure out if that's something that we choose to participate with or not. And yeah, nobody's really challenged anything. But our books are open if anybody wants to see them, and just we're just here helping people through laughter.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you about the Hunger Games because I want you to share a story from your Hunger Games fundraiser. First of all, what it is and where it's going. You talked about it a little bit, but if you can share a story that showcases why comedy and charity work so well together, because I think you've got a winning combination there that is unique to any other that I know. Some will do it for a charity, once in a while, but your main mission is more charity based, how to help, than let's get you in the seats and let's collect the money.
Great observation. Yeah, well, first of all, we all got real jobs, so we don't uh we don't have to be good at comedy. If we stink and we get booed off the stage, well, we're still getting a check from the day job. That
But you
hasn't
don't
happened.
stink.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We need to get you back to another show. But the Hunger Games is an idea that I came up with numerous years ago, right when I started Oxymorons Comedy. I'd actually been doing it in the other group. And we oftentimes will invite, excuse me, not oftentimes, we always invite other groups. So it's going to be a night of three improv groups, three, count them three, one, two, three improv groups in the same night. This year it's going to be Oxymorons Comedy, Stick Horses, and Whimsicult. And we're all going to do a 30-minute set, so you're not going to be there all night unless we do a guessing game and I wind up guessing. But
Or me.
uh,
Don't
right,
call on me.
it's not easy. That'll be November 8th at the Peak Improv Theater.
Not
And in the
easy
past,
being tripped.
what's that?
It's not easy being tripped.
uh,
Okay,
so uh,
sorry, go ahead.
that's right. Uh, and the all the proceeds from the night, I said, as I said, are going to go to Springs Rescue Mission. And you were talking earlier, Sandy, about the things that we raffle off. Well, as I said, being part of the Pikes Peak Region Attractions Association and Visit Colorado Springs, the Convention and Visitors Bureau and Chamber of Commerce, I know people, and so um, just a couple of phone calls, and you can come and you can bid on our silent auction, which includes a lot of things. From the Pikes Peak Region attractions, including Cave of the Winds passes to not just cave tours, but spelunking and zip lines and uh, Via Ferrata rock treks, chocolate from Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, the Manitou Cliff Dwellings, the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park for their zip line that goes over the gorge. Oh my gosh, that is, looking down 1,000 feet while you're sitting there in this little chair. You just wonder, oh, I, excuse me,
I'd skip that one personally.
not one of my favorite. And then the Cave of the Winds has a pterodactyl ride, which is a giant canyon swing. We drop you off the side of the cliff, 180 feet at 100 miles an hour, pulling 2.5 Gs, 400 feet away in less than 4 seconds. It does fly faster than vomit. Don't ask how we know. And the bridge and park has Royal Gorge Bridge and Park has something like that. Their sky coaster, and it swings you out over the edge of the gorge. And other passes that you can bid on are Colorado Wolf and Wildlife, Chewy's Mexican Restaurant, the Cog Railway, the Colorado Institute of Massage Therapy, and more. And in upcoming shows, we also have some prizes coming up in future shows from the new Hotel Polaris on the Air Force Academy. We have the Manitou Buffalo Bicycle Lodge and just other things. And so it's not just, come to a show and win crap that you'll never do anything with. We I ran out of glow in the dark spider rings a long time ago. Uh, no, this is good stuff. And even if you might not want the specific items that we have up for raffle, they make great Christmas gifts. And, just that list that I ran through there, that's about $2,500 of value in
Right.
prizes that I just mentioned that if you bid right, I mean, I've given away or offered up like a family four-pack to Cave of the Winds. It'll get you a Discovery Cave tour, a pterodactyl ride, and a Pioneer Park, all for four people in a family. That's a $375 value. Somebody won for like $50,
Right. Right.
and all
So,
that, and all the proceeds from this silent auction are going to go to the Springs Rescue Mission.
right. So in your shows, you have the cover charge to get in. And it's always $15, at least right now.
Usually $15. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's higher if we have a some Comedy Central friends of mine that come out and they'll do
Right.
a show.
Right. Gotcha. So that is the money that goes into paying for everything, and a portion of it goes to a charity. But then once you're inside, the other way to help contribute to the charities is by per, participating in the auctions, raffles, and whatever that is. So there's two ways: it's come in and then that, or am I wrong?
Minor correction. We don't have silent auctions at every show, but
Gotcha.
at every show we do have an auction. I don't know, wind that back up. At every show, we do have a raffle, and there is no charge over and above for the raffle. And you could win some of the free stuff that I was talking about, Cave of the Winds passes, and I raffle off pterodactyl prizes. I raffle off zip line rides. I raffle off spelunking, and it's free. I mean, just by, excuse me, it's no extra charge above the ticket cost. So you come in, you get your $15 admission ticket, and we give you a little raffle ticket, you could win at
Right.
no
So
extra charge.
the Hunger Games is the big one, and that's with some of the auction stuff. The general ones have the raffles. And when they go to your website, because I've seen it too, you will show that there's an auction. If it always has a raffle.
A free
Uh,
raffle that you can win good stuff. I mean, it's the same
right.
stuff that I mentioned before. Maybe not as big, but like a Hotel Polaris, but you can still win a $375 day pass for four just if you got the winning raffle ticket.
Right. And it's also helps other local businesses because now if you win it, you're actually going to go there and patron them. So whether it's a free ticket or not, it's still you're going into their establishment. So I love that about Oxymorons. Not only one show has many spokes, touches many different areas in our community and in our lives in general. And that I think is very unique and very heartwarming.
Well, thank you. And I try and run it as a business to business opportunity. When you want to donate a prize to either a raffle or a silent auction, you're going to be on our advertising, everything that we do on Facebook, Instagram, Twittergram, whatevergram. And we have 20,000 followers on Facebook, and we have I don't know how many million views on the website and such like that. But yeah, you're going to take advantage of that when you get on our site and do something with us. People are going to see your logo. They're going to see your affiliation with a good, wholesome, fun. I mean, who doesn't love to laugh? And organization. And I'm doing some things right now where I'm going to be looking for some sponsors who want to join us and and pay like a monthly retainer. We have some folks in the group, two of our girls. They married and have some kids. They each have three babies now. One of them just had a baby about a week ago. I She missed our last show, and so whenever they have to come to practice or come to a show, oh my gosh, babysit! I'm thinking about leaving Cave of the Winds and going into babysitting. There's some good money there, and so the first thing that I would ask of the sponsors is, hey, would you mind donating? Let's sign you up for a retainer fee, and you'll get your logo and call outs at every show, and an endorsement, and any kind of commercial, as you've heard me doing for the last 49 minutes for me. And and that money's going to first of all help pay the babysitting fees for the people in the group, and then anything over and above that, we're gonna split between charities and whatever benevolent help we can do.
Great. All right. So we've
So,
been on for,
any interested, I'm sorry, any interested sponsors, go to oxymoronscomedy.com and go to our contact page.
and if you're interested in sponsoring, Colorado Springs Town Tidings also has the ability for sponsors too.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, Colorado, go to Colorado Springs Town Tidings as well. Go
So
there
we
first.
can so we can continue to do what we do.
Right, and I am just eternally grateful to you, Sandy, and Colorado Town Tidings. I remember the first time that we had contacted each other. You sounded so excited to talk to me. I'm like, God, why? She obviously doesn't know me very well, do he?
No, you are. I followed Oxymorons and I knew what you were doing. And I wanted to connect because I knew my subscribers and my readers would be thrilled to hear more about you. And again, who doesn't like fun? And I love that it's clean. I always say all the time, if I could wrap all of us in a Hallmark bubble, I would do that. And so oxymorons, because it is clean, but yet you can be clean and hilarious. It's not mutually exclusive. So I like that in general. And so when I came across, I kept trying to get on your radar, and it was just like I wasn't. And then finally we connected. I'm like, finally, yay!
Well, and as a testament to you and Colorado Springs Town Tidings, when I go into my Google Analytics and I'm seeing where our visitors are coming from, where I see where our website and our social media visitors are coming from, Colorado Springs Town Tidings had a higher percentage than even Facebook, and also Peak Radar. And I love Peak Radar. They're the Springs go-to place for culture and art and such like that. And you're ahead of them by a few percentage points. So whoop whoop, what you're
Wow.
doing is doing well, and it's getting seen, and it's reaching people, and I for one value you and appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. It's
Who
a
can't love
labor.
that smile? Who can't love that smile? Look at that.
It's a labor of love. And my subscribers are very passionate in general about things that I am as well, helping the community and getting involved and going to these places. So that's why I'm so thrilled when I can get businesses, because I get to introduce them. Maybe they don't know about you. And so I can't wait till we fill up Hunger Games and every other show because of what you stand for and the experience they're going to have in the show. They're going to laugh, they're going to have a good time. It's reasonably priced for everything that's out there for what you get. And you, like you said, you go home, you don't have to second guess, what did I just hear? Or try and say something if you have a kid or a grandparent or yourself in general. So there might be more of a niche in there, but I think my subscribers are part of that. I think they fit well.
They are indeed, and Colorado Springs Town Tidings has the best followers that we've seen. Because they come into a show knowing they're informed and they have good decisions that hey, I want to do this, and so or what's this all about? No, you do a great job of describing and unfolding everything that there is, and just kudos to you and everything that you and Colorado Springs Town Tidings does. It's becoming a huge staple in the community.
Well, thank you. Now I'm blushing.
And I little side note, folks. I know Sandy a little bit outside of here, and I know the hours that she puts into this, and she really does care a lot about Colorado Springs and the customers and the people and all the stories that she does. Uh, how about I say, her nights are very short because of it. She puts in a lot of time, more so than I would.
That's funny. All right. So thank you very much. And let's get back to Oxymorons Comedy.
I want to make you
What?
blush more.
No, I can't believe it. So, what other things that we may not have covered that you want to make sure come across so I make sure that my listeners know?
Well, again, it's voting time for Spring's Best of. We would, well, right now, I beg your pardon, it's nomination time. I think we're already on the ballot. I saw our name up there in lights, and so evidently we cleared that threshold. But the voting is coming up real quick, and we would love your vote. We would love to see you at a show. And like I said, you can bring the kids. We just did our Halloween show last weekend and had a big costume contest and had a lot of fun there. And if you like Whose Line Is It Anyway, you'll love our show. And then we do more than just Whose Line Is It Anyway kind of stuff. And you'll see a lot of fun. And if you think, well, what is this? I don't have really any videos from what we do because if you can see the videos, why come to a show? So, and live comedy is so much more of an experience than watching at home on your phone or on your TV. I mean, you can watch. I love Jim Gaffigan and Bill Burr, Dimitri Martin, Nate Bargatze. Just tremendously funny comedians. But yeah, if you go to one of their shows, oh my gosh, it's like 10 times funnier because laughter is contagious. And, you come to a show and it's just tremendously great. One thing I would like to talk about just briefly, it's not so much about us, but about the Peak Improv Theater. It's owned by one of our competitors, but we're all friends. The Stick Horses, they are the oldest improv group in town. And I don't mean that physically, but namesake wise. They own the Peak Improv Theater, and they have a lot of classes, Improv 101, Improv 102, musical improv, Shakespearean improv, and just all kinds of stuff. And improv is not just about comedy. It teaches you how to make the most out of any situation. And sometimes that can be funny. Sometimes it just may kind of be a quick shuck and dive and how it works in business, it works in everyday life, it works with the husband and wife. Honey, I told you not to come home until you brought home the toast and eggs. Where's the toast and eggs? And quickly figure out not to lie, but you can make a funny out of that. Which there's a joke here, but takes a little bit long to tell. It may not translate well over the interwebs, but it can be so helpful in a business situation. Case in point, I had done something at one of the colleges I teach at, and we just had a new dean that came in. And so I was going to be doing this reprimand call. My boss called, my department head called me and says, Trip, you need to come to this meeting because I
Uh-oh.
didn't do anything. I didn't do anything bad. I was just late
The
grading
ruler was
something.
coming out.
It
Knuckles.
was slap on the hands. And so you didn't get some stuff graded to somebody in time and they didn't like what you did. And so long story short, I started the meeting with this new dean that I had never met and then the assistant dean and my boss is sitting there. And I said, well, let me start off by saying, even before I introduce myself, I'm going to apologize right now for some things that I'm going to say throughout the course of this meeting, which, if there's a way to take it wrong or right, I meant the right way. I meant the other way. So, let's just start there. And they were laughing. And by the end of the call, they gave me another class. and more money. So, improv can be very beneficial in just, working your way through things and, with a lighthearted comedy. I mean, who does, how many meetings have you sat in that, oh gosh, and when they go around the room, I'm Bob Smith of ABC Textiles. I'm Shirley Donahue from 123 Lumber, and they get to me and hi, I'm Trip, and I just want to say I saved a lot of money by switching to Geico, and they're not expecting it, and the meeting just immediately becomes a fun and kind of friendly time. Not that there's not a time to be serious, but you don't have to be like stiff necked and just have fun with life. You only get one shot at it.
True. And I'm kind of a testament to it. I'm not quick on my feet in general. I sometimes have to think of things carefully before I try and say them.
And see, that's a
And
big difference between you and me. I don't think before I say them. I just deal with the consequences.
I don't like consequences unless they're favorable. And in my workshops, when I teach about AI and some other things, sometimes questions come up and I want to answer everybody. And as I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with improv, some from your influence is how to go ahead and how to go ahead and pivot and
Pivot.
and keep going. So I have to say that improv, like you said, isn't just about comedy, it's how to interact in life in general and be able to do it. And I don't go for the lying. I just, how am I supposed to come up with something that is useful, but using the improv formula to do that in general. So, yes, improv for everyday life. You don't have to be a comedian, you don't have to inspire to be a comedian. It's something to look into just for fun and also to help you communicate better.
Indeed. It helps if you got some background in comedy. I was a kid who stared out into space, doodled on my papers, and ended my sentences with prepositions. And my third grade teacher, Mrs. Quall, said I'd never make anything of myself. And now I get paid to do just that. So, ah,
You showed her. Great. I can't wait to bring this story to my subscribers, my listeners, my watchers, and really try and fill those rooms every time you have it. Now, what you didn't touch on is private events.
oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we have we got a fistful of private events coming up now through the end of the year, and then even some in out as far as March. And so, yeah, if you go to oxymoronscomedy.com, there's a contact page in there, and you can just submit something there. That's the easiest way. I can give you a whole bunch of other websites, or excuse me, a bunch of other email names and numbers, but yeah, that's the easiest way. Oxymoronscomedy.com. Go to the contact. And then just let us know what you're trying to do. Depending on what it is, we have a sliding scale. We're not just one size fits all. And we want to help you succeed. Like I said, we all got real jobs, so it's not like we need the money. We do it for fun, but the my other half, she appreciates the new pair of shoes that she gets to buy from from going on stage, and then as long as we got babysitting covered and things like that for the two gals in the group, that's so long as it doesn't cost them money, we are more than happy to look at anything, and even though we have our own charities that we contribute to, we'll do a fundraiser. We're Guns for Hire. We'll help anybody with their fundraiser and things like that. Do we work for free? Well, on occasion, but we need a couple of bucks to get us out of the house. I don't want to be the one to have to explain to my wife why I thought it was a good idea to go out and tell a bunch of chuckle jokes on stage when we were trying to move from one of one home to another. Well, duty called. But
Well,
no,
it's not
yeah,
just
please.
that. It's
What's
not
that?
just that. It's not just that. It's also everyone else there. How many members do you have in the group right now?
Well, if you can keep a secret, we were we were six, and I'm just about to make official. We have two more that are joining our ranks.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
wait a second. Am I supposed to keep a secret? This is an interview. Don't you want me to shout it out?
I do. I'll hurry up and tell them before this goes live because they're certainly going to know because Colorado Springs Town Tiding hits everybody. But no, that would bring our total. We have nine of us with the two new additions, and the reason for that, one of us is a national public speaker. He does work with uh, anger and violence de-escalation at school, so he travels a lot. That's Jed. He's one of the founders as well. And then we have a number of other of us that do other things, and we travel, and of course holidays and babies and stuff like that. And this way with the nine of us, there's always going to be five or six of us to do a show.
Right. And my point was the money that goes in, you don't work for free, but you've got to pay each one. It's got to be, you've got to have gas money, it's time. You're not charging them by the time or anything, but just with anything, it covers the basics. Not for your, wife to have a new pair of shoes. It's about how to get there. And so I love that there's a sliding scale. Everybody has different needs. Give us a couple of examples of private shows that you've done, just so my subscribers get an idea that some are very creative and some need a little bit of help. So, what are those things? And they could think, oh, I have a group, I volunteer here. I wonder if that would be helpful. Or, we have an event coming up, whatever. Give us examples.
Great question. Thank you. We don't do just fundraisers and things like that. I mean, if you just want entertainment, I mean, we're entertainment based anyway, and sometimes there's just a fundraiser associated with it. But we do numerous Christmas parties and things like that. The Colorado Springs Executives Association, a bunch of leaders and movers and shakers here in the community. We did their Christmas party a couple years ago. We did a Christmas party, excuse me, it was a fall party out in Yuma, Colorado. I wasn't even aware there was a Yuma, Colorado. It's about a 4 hour drive one way. It's up by Sterling, and they had a big golf course thing, and that was a lot of fun. Great people out there, and so we loaded up the the minivan and headed out there. We did last year we did a Christmas party for the Salida Power Authority there in Salida, Colorado. Uh, we've done Christmas parties for, gosh, and holiday parties, whatever you want to call them, for any number of people. We've done summer picnics. There's a place up in Lake George that's Sportsman's Paradise where we did an outdoor summer thing a couple of years ago, and that was really fun until the rain and the hail came.
True.
But yeah, it was a good time up to that, and and we'll perform. We're doing some shows this year. We're doing a number of holiday and Christmas parties through November. We've done some really cool ones at Miramont Castle. Those are
Oh,
fun.
wow.
And yeah, we go up there and yeah, we'll do like they're a 501(c)(3), and so we'll do like a silent auction and help them raise some money for next year and things like that. And that's a beautiful show. And if you've not been to Miramont Castle in December, it's opulent. All the decoration that Peggy does and gets the castle in shape, and the food and the tea. It's just you got to roll me out of there like what's her name from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
All right.
Factory. Oompa Loompa me out of there. But and just we've done shows for 50 people. Yeah, I think we've even done a show for like 20 people on up. We did that for some church groups that wanted us to come special, sometimes I'll just invite them to come out to the show, and hey, just it's much easier to do it there unless you guys want us there just to yourselves. And so we've done shows for 20 people, and we've done 50 people shows. Kind of the sweet spot is somewhere between 50 and 150 people. We've performed at the uh, it's not the Boot Barn Hall anymore. It's now the
Right.
Phil Long Ford Music Hall. But we were the summer comedy series there 3 years ago. 2 years ago, we were the summer comedy group at the Antlers Downtown Hotel. For 3 months, the same as at Boot Barn Hall, and we'll bring in national acts from Comedy Central and um, dry bar comedians. Dry bar doesn't necessarily uh, mean no liquor, but
Right.
it does mean clean and high quality entertainment.
Great. So do you do like reunions and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. What the biggest thing? Yeah, we'll do reunions. We'll do big family get-togethers, class reunions. Those are fun. Office parties, just because. And one of the things, though, that as I was kind of dancing around with the dive bar situation is comedy. You really need to pay attention. So, if there's going to be a comedy show and you want to do a comedy show for your thing, make sure that people understand it. We're going to turn all the chairs and they're all going to face the stage, and you're going to watch uh, people do comedy rather than, us on microphones trying to compete with table conversations. And, we're going to get louder, and then, the table conversations are, well, what are those guys talking so loud for? And then they get louder, and then we get louder. And then pretty soon, we're pulling up the sleeve. No, but to book a comedy group, just like if you were to book a comedian, and I also will bring in stand-up comedians, and I'll do stand-up. There's a couple of people in a group that do stand-up, and so we can do like single jokes, boom, 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 like you're used to hearing. But just know that there's a performance aspect of it. It's like going to a movie. You're going to sit there, you're going to face forward, and you're going to not talk, and you're going to watch the show. So that's the biggest thing to to be concerned with, simply because if you're talking and other people are around and they're dancing and the comedians are trying to talk, nobody hears anything, and honestly, it's just a waste of your money, if they don't realize it's going to be a performance aspect of it.
Right. So if you have the bounce houses and all that, leave them outside. Let people know that you're coming into the venue or whatever space it is, and this is a comedy show. So get prepared to laugh and to pay attention. Do you do you make people put down their phones and put them on silent at the shows?
Not till they go off. And then I walk out in the audience and I grab it from them, and then I talk to whoever it is on speaker right by the microphone. Hello, hey, Bob can't talk right now, but this is the guy on stage. This is Trip on stage, and hey, just curious as to why Bob felt this call was so important to interrupt the comedy show. Go ahead, you got the microphone, and 70 people out here wondering what's going on. Go ahead.
That's funny. Well, in today's society, everybody has their nose in their phone, regardless of if they're anywhere. Now it's illegal to hold that in the car, so you can't do it there. But at a show, that has to be frustrating because people are addicted. So, how do you do that if they're just scrolling? Do you go out to there and kind of, what you looking at?
Answer to that, just got to have funny comedy. Honestly, I don't see very many people on their phones, hardly ever at our shows.
Wonderful.
And if it's funny, they're listening to us. Now they'll pull their phones out to take pictures. And as a
Right.
matter of fact, we do have a bit that we call text from last night. And so we will. I'll ask the audience. It's a setup, and I would say, okay, now what I need is somebody's phone that I can go through your texts with, and the whole audience, whoa, and so I'll get a phone, and then they'll, me or one of the comedians, one of the Oxys will be up there, and then they'll have that phone, and there'll be another person in the scene that has to justify the text, and so we recreate this scene just bouncing through typically a single text thread because I don't want to get too too far deep into somebody's personal life. Uh, but yeah, and if that happens, we just said, oh, family friendly show. Let's go to the next. Let's see who is Mabel. I think Aunt Mabel sounds safe, and so. Did you bring the kumquats that I asked you? And then so the scene justifier would say, "Well, that's right, Bob. You always forget the kumquats. So go back to the store and get them. Yeah. Now I'll be cooking by 7 o'clock tonight, and say, oh, well, I'm not going to be home till 7:30. And you're gonna, and so we just read through the text and we integrate them into the scene, and it's a lot of fun.
Fun. Cute. Great. Well, I think we covered quite a bit. And
We did.
and I have to say, what an incredible story from Trip Uhalt, founder of Oxymorons Comedy. What a perfect example of why I believe every local business has a story worth telling. And if you're ready to laugh with a guaranteed night of award winning, clean improv comedy right here in Colorado Springs, you can find show dates and tickets at oxymoronscomedy.com. That's OXYMORONSCOMEDY.com. And to make sure you never miss a local spotlight, subscribe to Colorado Springs Town Tidings at cos.towntidings.com. I'm Sandy Zuniga, celebrating our city one business at a time, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, Trip, for joining us.
Thanks, Sandy. Thanks for having us. Appreciate you.
Take care.
I'll take it any way I can get it.